Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Deathboy, and today I want to make a guide for the Abyss Dungeon Kayangel in Lost Ark. This video will cover normal and hard mode. If you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would help me out a lot. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. This will be a 3-part video series with this video covering Gate 3. Kayangel normal mode can be entered at item level 1540. Hard mode can be entered at 1580. This Abyss dungeon is required for getting your level 3 set bonus. Before you enter Gate 3, you want to bring the correct battle items. You will bring the following: Dark Grenade, Flame Grenade, Time Stop, and the last battle item is optional. Some members bring Scarecrow to taunt the boss during certain parts of the fight, or you could bring nothing at all. 2 members need to bring Dark Grenade, and the other 2 members will bring Flame Grenade. I will discuss when to use Flame Grenade later on in the video. Most members use Dark Grenade after the 60 HP line mechanic. However, if you're struggling on damage, you can use it steadily throughout the fight. Time Stop is mainly used during the Shadow Pull mechanic, which I will discuss later on. If you feel like you do not need Time Stop, you can bring Atropine instead to deal additional damage. Due to the nature of Gate 3, I will only cover major mechanics and important gimmicks. If you want to read up on notable attack patterns, I will leave a link below to the written guide about mobalytics. After you enter Gate 3 and attack the boss for a few moments, he will disappear. The boss will then reappear behind a random player with the mirror facing in front of him. If you touch this mirror, you will be brought to 1 HP. The boss will disappear and summon this mirror behind random players throughout the fight. But you need to know that the first mirror that occurs at the start of the fight will not pull you in. If you are targeted by this mirror, you need to stand still so that other members can freely damage the boss. My advice is to spread out each time the boss disappears so that you know who is targeted. Every mirror that occurs during the first major mechanic and beyond will be a bit different. When the boss teleports behind a random player, the mirror will try to suck you in. You need to move in a single direction. Do not try to move sporadically, otherwise members may get hit by the mirror. After a few moments, the mirror will break. Then the boss will fire a laser. This laser will continuously knock you back and deal a lot of damage. If you have the game volume on, you can hear when the mirror breaks. That is your cue to move away so that you are not hit by the laser. During the first major mechanic and beyond, the boss will take 99% reduced damage. The only way to damage the boss is to receive a buff via highlighted crystals on the edge of the map. Any attack pattern performed by the boss that hits a crystal will cause that crystal to turn yellow. When a member destroys a crystal, that member will get an aura surrounding the character. This aura should be brought to nearby members so that they can get the buff as well. Every time a member breaks a crystal, it will spawn again after 2 minutes. The buff that is received by a crystal will also last 2 minutes. Any crystal that is not yellow will not give you a damage buff upon destroying it. The support should prioritize breaking the yellow crystals and spreading the buff to nearby members. You may also notice that there is a white dial surrounding each yellow crystal. When the dial goes away, the crystal will target a random player with a yellow beam. If your character were to touch this yellow beam, you will take 100% increased damage for a few seconds. Throughout the fight, you need to maintain uptime on the crystal buff so that you can continue to damage the boss. Make sure that you spread the buff to nearby members once you break a crystal. The first major mechanic happens at 180 HP lines or below. A red line telegraph will be shown below your feet. Afterwards, a large red telegraph will be shown. Go to the safe spot. The safe spot can either be a bit towards the middle or closer to the edge. After this large telegraph, a few more red line telegraphs will be shown below your feet. When this pattern is finished, your camera will zoom out. 1 player needs to stand in the middle, while the rest of the members move away. The player who is in the middle will be aggroed by the boss when he flies down to the middle. That player needs to quickly go near a crystal. You will see many on the edge of the map. The boss will teleport behind that player with the mirror that will pull the player in. The goal is to have that player position the boss in such a way where the mirror touches the crystal. If the mirror does not touch the crystal, the player needs to stand right on a crystal because once the mirror breaks, the boss will shoot a laser. If the mirror or laser touches the crystal will glow yellow. Break the crystal when it turns yellow. If the mirror or laser does not touch a crystal, wait for the boss to do an attack, then go to that yellow crystal and break it. The next major mechanic happens at 140 HP lines or below. You will be unable to use any abilities besides spacebar and auto attack. The boss will teleport to the middle and there will be lasers coming from the boss. You will also notice telegraphs around the boss. Avoid these telegraphs, otherwise you will be imprisoned. The goal of this mechanic is for one member to stand on the laser coming from the boss and guide it to the next member, then the next member, with the final member guiding the laser to the boss to complete the stagger check. When you stand on a laser coming from the boss or a member, you will notice a meter below your character that will fill up. Once it is full, you will be imprisoned and a laser will come from your character, pointing in the direction your character is looking. Party number 1 will stand on the laser coming from the boss and guide it to number 2. Number 2 will take laser from number 1 and guide it to number 3. Number 3 takes laser from number 2 and guides it to number 4. And number 4 targeting their laser to the boss. When guiding a laser, auto-attack in the direction you want the laser to go in while standing on the laser. This will make sure that the laser does not drift off in an odd direction. If the first 3 players guide their laser correctly, but the last player does not guide the laser right on the boss, it will be a raid wipe. The only way to finish this mechanic is for each laser to be guided properly with the last laser touching the boss. In addition, when you get imprisoned by the laser, you will have a large telegraph surrounding your character. Other members need to avoid that telegraph, otherwise they will be imprisoned as well and will cause a raid wipe because the stagger check won't be completed. All members need to be alive and do this mechanic correctly. In hard mode, the mechanic is identical with slight variation. A few more telegraphs are shown on the ground that you must avoid. You also cannot look at the boss for a long time. If you do, you will get a debuff that will greatly limit your vision. In hard mode, the only member that should be looking in the direction of the boss is the member that's guiding the laser to the boss. The next major mechanic happens at 100 HP lines or below. There will be a map-wide red telegraph with the middle being safe. Right when the red telegraph goes away, you will see a rune that lights up. When the map-wide blast occurs, you will see another rune that lights up. In addition, when the map-wide blast occurs, you can safely move out. You will see a bunch of orbs all around the map. You will need to go to your ×3+1 position. Number 1 goes bottom right, number 2 goes bottom left, number 3 goes top left, and number 4 goes top right. The game will quickly show you which orbs are white and black, and then they will all look the same. Think of this as a memory game. When the white orbs are shown, you need to quickly memorize them. The goal is to take 5 white orbs. If you take a black orb, you'll be stunned for a few seconds and remove a stack. Let's say hypothetically, you had 4 white orbs collected and you take a black orb. Well, now you're down to 3 and you need to collect 2. Once you take a white orb, your character will throw out a pulse in the direction you're looking in, showing the color of any orbs nearby. If you have a shield surrounding your character, that means you're done collecting 5 white orbs. If you take 5 orbs and you know where the extra ones are located, you should ping those orbs in case any members still need them. After a few moments, a shadow will be shown on the map in the same direction of the first rune that was lit up at the start of the mechanic. You will need to move to that shadow and stay inside of it. If you do not, you will die. After the first shadow, this is your last chance to collect orbs if you still need them. The second shadow will be shown on the map in the same direction of the second rune that was lit up at the start of the mechanic. If you are unsure if an orb is white or black, ask for help from your fellow members. The last major mechanic happens at 60 HP lines or below. The boss will teleport to the middle and everyone will be sent to a separate dimension. In this dimension, you will see the following: red pillars with runes etched on them, and clones of the boss. In most parties, everyone gathers at 12 o'clock right before the mechanic occurs. The goal of this mechanic is to find the correct clone of the boss and stagger it so that you can get a shield to prevent your death. This is similar to Kayangel Gate 2's sword clone mechanic. Every member should ping the red pillars that have runes etched on them. Every red pillar that has a rune will be the correct clone for each member. Once you see a ping that matches a clone, you need to walk up to it, wait for the stagger bar to appear, then stagger the clone. If you stagger the incorrect clone, you will die. If you don't stagger any clone in time, you will die. It is essential that every member pings the red pillars with runes on them while also paying attention to the pings and seeing which ping matches one of your clones. After the 60 HP line mechanic is finished, if you see a yellow crystal, you should break it and spread the buff immediately. At this point, the boss will start to slowly gain stacks that will increase the amount of damage he deals. After a few attacks, the first shadow will occur. A rune will light up on the ground, showing you where the shadow will occur. This is where most people die. The boss will teleport to the middle with the mirror in front of him. You need to go to the shadow and stay inside of it. However, the boss will target a random member with his mirror and attempt to pull the member in along with any members nearby. After each shadow is finished, the boss will break the mirror and fire a laser at the targeted member. When the shadow occurs, if you know that you are being targeted by the mirror, you can face the opposite direction and use time stop when the blast occurs to prevent other members being pulled in. My advice for this shadow is to position yourself in a way where you are directly in the center of the shadow and staying on the edge of the map. You can use time stop right before the blast if you find yourself dying to this often. The only shadow that is tricky is the one at 6 o'clock. There's not much shadow to work with, so you need to position yourself properly. After the first shadow, the boss will do quite a few more attacks until attempting the second one. Usually, after 3 shadows, the boss is dead. Yellow rings. Flame grenade. This is a random attack that the boss may or may not do throughout the fight. He will stand still and spawn a bunch of yellow rings that will hone in on your location if you get close to them. If you get hit by any of the rings, you will get imprisoned. You can dodge them as intended to not get imprisoned, but due to the nature of flame grenade, most parties tend to greed this attack, stack together, and deal additional damage. You will get hit by a lot of the rings and get imprisoned, but the players who have flame grenade will free everyone. You will throw a flame grenade on the ground where everyone is standing a few seconds after the attack occurs. If members are greeting this attack, support should utilize Awakening or some sort of shield because it does a lot of damage. And that will conclude my guide for Kayangel Gate 3. As stated earlier in the video, I only included major gimmicks and mechanics. I will leave a link below that includes notable attack patterns made by Mobalytics. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. If you want to see more guides in the future, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to see me live, check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/deathboy523. I live stream nearly every day. With all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful time raiding in Lost Ark. Peace.